Hello, everybody. We are about ready to get started. Grab your popcorn. Use the restroom one last time, because it is about that time. Well, hello and welcome, everybody, to our stream here that we have going of Assault Suits Valken. We have Andy from Retrobit on the line with us here. You will hear his disembodied voice, but unfortunately, we don't get to see his handsome face. Hey, Andy, how's it going?
Doing good, Ed. No, I think everyone saw my face enough at Portland, so we'll leave it at that.
But they didn't get to see my face at Portland, which is unfortunate. I didn't get to go this year. But do want to thank Andy and the team over at Retrobit for partnering with us for this stream. Make sure you stay tuned as we go through here. We're going to talk about how you can actually win a copy of this as well. Now, just as a heads up on here, some of the things that you're going to see, they're not finalized. There's going to be some tweaks and whatnot. This is an early pre-production version of the game, although the game should be pretty close to done, but some of the other elements I'm going to show you here in a little bit, not quite what we will see, or a little bit different maybe than what we will see in the very end. So if you're not familiar with Assault Suits Valken, it's Cybernator here in the US, but they edited it for the American markets. Now, like I say, the team over at Retrobit have partnered with Masaya Game. I want to keep saying Miramasa. It's Masaya Games. Let's give you a real close look here for a moment as far as everything that is going to be included with this special release. Numbered deluxe magnetic hardcover cartridge packaging. You have your Orium Armor Gold 16-bit cartridge for both NTSC and PAL regions. You have a celebratory acrylic stand, exclusive soundbites keychain, a full-color instruction manual, and a commemorative coin. Now, this collector set you're looking is going to be $79.99 in the U.S., $89.99 in the EU, and they are expected to ship in Q1 of 2024. Now, there is a standard edition that will be coming out as well. Some of the more recent releases, Retrobit has done one or the other. This is, again, doing both. And with this, you're still going to get the numbered deluxe magnetic hardcover cartridge packaging, the bronze shield, either for the Super Famicom or for the Super Nintendo, and a full-color instruction manual. I do like the fact that each version has a different cartridge color, so you have, for those paying a premium price, you get the gold, the bronze for the people who just want the game, and for people who just want the game, $59.99 in the US, $64.99 in the EU. Now, part of the proceeds from the sale of Assault Suits Valken actually also go to help support the Video Game History Foundation. And it's something that these are amazing people that continue to love and cherish and support and curate games from the past and make them available into the future. I did have myself muted on the microphone. That's why lips were moving, ain't nothing coming out. So we do have an early prototype here of the game and everything to show you. And I can't show you the cartridge because it's in the system, and they are available both as, hey, Christopher, hey, Batman, see you guys both here on the YouTube side. We are streaming both on YouTube and over on the Retrobit Twitch channel. Make sure you subscribe to both. So we do have the cartridge for the Super Nintendo in our Super Nintendo right now. The images that you are seeing are actually coming through original hardware. This will play on clone systems if you want to go ahead and do so. I'm playing through a Super NES Junior that actually has been RGB modded using one of Voltar's RGB mod kits, and we are connecting using HD Retrovision component video cables going into our RetroTink 5X. That's one of the reasons this looks absolutely beautiful, is this is 5 times upscaled, and this is just, it's a stunning, stunning image on here. Now, to control it, I am using one of Retrobit's wireless Legacy 16 controllers, and I've done reviews on this. Make sure you check it out here on the channel. This is a really comfortable, great way to go ahead and play your favorite Super Nintendo or Super Famicom games as well. It also includes a dongle where you can use it on the Switch, which is pretty cool if you want to use it for the Switch online. Now, I've actually been charging it. Now, one of the things, if you've never seen me, one of the reasons I don't do a ton of streaming is I tend to suck. So you are going to see me die a lot, especially in a game like this that is pretty difficult. Now, Andy, you were telling me that what we see on screen here, the pre-orders are ending this weekend. There's still an opportunity for people to go ahead and pick up a copy. Where can they do that through?
North America, you have Rondo products and also a limited run. For Europe, you have quite a few selections. You got 8-Bit Mods in the UK, Dragon Box Shop in Germany. Our old friends Spellosun and Net Games are also out there. Strictly Limited, Extra Life, Retro Cables. Those last two are in Spain, I believe, and I believe Just for Games is in France. So mainland Europe, you got plenty of places, and UK, you got 8-Bit Mods, who are a great company.
Awesome. And yeah, I will have, I don't think that I have them down here. After we're done with the stream, I will actually have some links in the post, or if you want to throw them in the chat as well, Andy, to go ahead where you can order them through, or even just find out more information through the Retrobit website. So we've been talking now for, what, about 10 minutes now? Let's actually get some gameplay. Sure. Now, one of the things I have never played, in the US, this was released as Cybernator. So this is the first time that Assault Suits Valken, in its original variant, is available to play here in the U.S. So let's dive into the options real quick. So you can adjust the message text as it scrolls on screen. You can do a fast or slow, sound either stereo or mono, and then you can change to a couple different control types, type B, type C. A looks like it'll work for me. And also just, so again, those of you who are unfamiliar with the channel, the way that I have everything, I actually have it playing behind me. My camera is here. I actually have a gaming monitor off to my left. So if you wonder why I'm looking this way, that's where my capture monitor is. Please also, as you're watching, feel free to chat to us if you have any questions. Andy, I will rely on you on the Twitch side of things because I have the YouTube window open in front of me and monitoring that, but let's see how bad I suck. Now, I normally will fly through a lot of this stuff. We're going to take it for you and just kind of show you everything that's coming through here in the game. Also, as we're going, if you guys want me to turn up or turn down either my audio or game audio, please don't hesitate to say something in the chat.
Definitely. One thing I wanted to just go back on when you were showing the options, the messages where it's slow or fast. If you set it to slow, it actually stops the gameplay when any character starts to talk. So that way, if you're too distracted while playing the game but you want to read, that's probably the best option.
Okay. Oh, and before we get into this, one final thing I want to do, because this is the deluxe edition, has some really cool stuff packed into it. So you get, and I'm not going to show you really close up on this just because it would look blurry, but you get a collector's coin with the game logo on it there, which is like, this has got some heft to it. That's actually really, really cool. This is probably, to me, the coolest. This little display stand that has like, I want to call it a mech, but it's an assault suit. Yes. This reminds me of Galvatron and the Transformers, the movie, when they were still good before Michael Bay ruined them. But this is actually really, really cool. You also have the slip box that it comes with. And then this is basically for both versions. You'll have a version of this case, essentially. And what I like is you guys have gone to like a magnetic seal on the bottom, so it actually kind of keeps everything closed and together really, really neatly. And then in the top corner here, there is a certificate of authenticity is the wrong term. It's a numbered variant, basically. So this is 3 of 9,000. Is that actually how many are being made, Andy? 9,000?
No, these are just placeholders. We have stickers that go like from 1 to 10 just to...
Here, I thought I was special with number 3. But these are always, and you guys, was it Battletoads and Double Dragon was kind of the first one that you guys did this style box with?
Yes, for the Super Nintendo, yes, it was Battletoads Double Dragon.
And then it will come with a full color instruction manual and some other, detail things in the box. Definitely very, very cool things. Lemmy says, would love to see Assault Suits Lano for PS5. Missed out on the PS4 version. That's something separate than what we're dealing with here, unfortunately, man. So sorry about that, but let's see how much I can die in this. Now, one thing I did find out, I did some research, and I guess there's a cheat code or something like that where if you don't shoot any enemies besides the main boss in the first level, you get like a weapons power-up or something.
Yeah, so I think it's called the napalm gun or something like that. Basically, if this is how challenging it is. You have to not get hit, not kill any enemies in stage 1, and only kill the boss. And then in stage 2, if you want to level it up, in stage 2, you also have to not kill any enemies and kill only the boss, and then you can actually level up the napalm gun, which is the most broken gun in the game. But yeah, it's quite the challenge.
Now, the character design here definitely reminds me, is it not Toho? That was Godzilla. Who did the animation in Japan for Voltron?
Let me dig into my anime brain.
Yeah, I can't remember what the studio was. But regardless, I mean, that's the animation style for the character. Kind of reminds me of that.
Who was it?
So you can jump, and then there's like, you've got a jetpack as well. Now, what's interesting is, and I'm not going to try to do the napalm gun because having never played this, I'm just going to try to survive. So if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you have your gun, which is now it's the Vulcan. You have punch, so basically he'll just punch. But he will essentially run out of ammo and have to reload every once in a while. And the cool thing, too, is if you press up or down, you see how he's changing the angle of attack for firing his gun. Now, one thing that's nice about the Legacy 16 is the fact that it has an analog stick. If you would prefer to use that, it's fully compatible with it, but it doesn't give you any extra like range or anything. It's just a comfort level, like if that's just what you prefer to do. And then you do have, there's a shield using the R trigger, and then L doesn't do anything, and then basically the ZR and ZL basically mimic the same things on here as what R and L do.
I believe that L actually holds your arm position, so if you angle at a certain point and then hold L, it'll keep that gun locked in that place.
So let's see. So I'm L. You're right. Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I can
backwards and all that.
I can angle down and walk at the same. That is good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Music is awesome. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm. There's also quite a lot of detail. You'll see, like, even if you fire into walls into the ground, you'll start seeing, like, dents and, blast holes everywhere.
Well, and it seems, too, like the world is a bit destructible as well.
Yeah, a good amount of it.
Now, when I saw that this was coming, the first game that I kind of associated with was Metal Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're familiar with Metal Storm at all, you know that is brutally hard, so I'm expecting something very similar to that here. Ooh, I just collected a P. What does that do for me?
P will level up your gun. I believe the number that's next to the bar tells you how many more you need to collect in order to level up.
Okay.
So it says 3, so you need to collect 3 more Ps to get your Vulcan to level 2.
Now, the dudes with the shields, are they pretty much indestructible, or do you have to get behind them or something?
Yeah, you can get up close to them, or you can even punch them if you want.
Okay, this is pretty stinking awesome. And again, don't hesitate. If you've got questions in the chat, that's what we're here to kind of help answer your questions on this as we go through and play. And kind of between levels, I'm going to show you some of the other additional stuff. Ooh. H, I've got to assume, is health.
Yes.
Now, that's interesting, too. So I can actually walk through an enemy and they don't hurt me.
Yeah, for at least on this stage and some other stages, when you find opposing mechs, you can kind of get by each other just fine. So you can pretty much just dash through them. But yeah, other ones will have collision, which will hurt.
Is the punch stronger than your weapons?
Not really. Um, because the punch has a long cooldown, so you'll punch like 3 or 4 times, and then you have to wait for it to charge up. And at the same time, you can probably reload your gun twice and do just as much, if not more, damage.
This almost reminds me a little bit of like, oh no, that's bad. Almost like a Super Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
Just as far as from a level design, and we are getting our butts kicked here.
Yeah, for the boss, you need to kill that middle thing that's going up. That's like the engine part that the enemies are trying to escape with.
All right, we got it.
Nice.
With like no health to spare. Get the hell out of here, full speed, let's go! So while we're doing this, I'm actually going to fire up Twitch on my phone real quick so I can keep an eye on, well, no, because I don't think I have the app on there. All right, but one of the things that I did not show, and this is actually one of the coolest things, is, and I think this is exclusive to the deluxe edition, Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, so there's this little keychain that's included. And what's really cool here is you basically cycles through different sound effects from the game, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, we're hoping that there's gonna be like a little tiny redesign that might be you can select the actual sound effect that'll make it a little bit cooler, but we'll have to see what Soundbites does with that.
Okay. So this is, I've got to go through asteroids. I thought that was on the Atari 2600, dude. I thought we were through asteroids already.
All right, so this, so the cool thing about the mission briefing, it actually shows you where you need to go in the stage.
Okay.
So
so
in
it's,
the
yeah, I
beginning
saw
part,
that,
just...
that line that kind of had me going through mostly center.
Mm-hmm. So you're just gonna launch and go flying automatically. It's auto scroller kind of thing. So the first part you're gonna have to survive.
Okay.
And kill as much as you can. And then the second half is basically the infiltration.
Okay. Now, on this, will the shield work then if I hit R?
When you're flying, I don't think it does.
Yep, nope, shield. So, uh-oh. There is a lot going on here.
Mm-hmm.
We have entered the bullet hell stage of Assault Suit Valken. You know what? This almost reminds me of Scat a little bit. Oh!
So the most damaging stuff are the missiles. So you want to shoot down those missiles or avoid them altogether. The enemy mechs will probably not hurt you, and obviously the asteroids will destroy you.
So here's, kind of down, then up, then down is the direction, kind of what Andy was describing here. Ariel, who did the translation? Does this release have the same glitches as the fan translation? I didn't know there was a fan translation, but Andy, is that something you can speak to?
We translated it. One of our more talented programmers decided to take it upon himself, and he helped us with this translation. Obviously, we went through Masaya, made sure everything was good. People will assume that our translation is the same as the classified version is on the Switch, but no, they're completely different. That version came out right when we're in the middle of developing this, so we have nothing to do with any other release. It might seem similar to the fan translation just because that's the way, we translate from Japanese to English. So you might see some similarities to either the fan translation or the Switch version, but trust us, it's totally done by our programmer. You might also still see some text errors. Again, this game is not 100% finalized. We are actually in the middle of testing right now. So any text issues we find here or during testing, we'll tidy them up before the release.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, this kind of reminds me also of Area 51, or no, what is it? UN Squadron? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
With everything going on from Capcom, so...
I would love to see that again.
What's that?
I'd love to see that again.
Oh, dude, that's such a great game. And I've actually got it on the US system and on the Super Famicom as well. Area 88, that's what it is on the Super Famicom. And a friend of the channel, Javier, is in here. No, Chiefs. Nobody cares about Travis Kelce or what's her name? Taylor Swift. We're not Swifties here.
All right, so now this is the part where it slows down. So at this point, you have like a weird zero gravity thing going on.
Okay. And it seems like whatever... This is where it's having the gun locked, so I'm holding L now, is probably more important.
Yes. Gun locking is good. There's a health pickup on the bottom, near the bottom of the stage. You have to kill some stuff.
Okay.
Towards the right bottom. But other than that, there's really nothing else here. Just try to survive, destroy what you can. There's some auto shooters that take a lot of damage, and you're better off just skipping those.
Okay. So it's like the Survivor Series. Teams of 5, strive to survive. Wrestling reference. Now, it doesn't seem like there's anything that will... Oh, needed to get that. Got it. Okay, power chip. So we have 2 more that we need to get.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. That's right, Hav. This game is pretty unbelievable. It's pretty. It's a pretty game.
Yeah, with your RetroTink setup, you're definitely gonna love these explosions.
Now, one thing too that I just want to address, because some other games have had this issue. This is completely compatible with not just first-party Super Nintendo, and then for the Super Famicom version, not just that one, but it will work on the Super Retro Trio 3 Plus and other, most other clone systems that are out there. And the reason I even bring it up was I forget who did that Double Dragon game that it only works on clone systems. It won't work on original hardware. It was not a Retrobit release, I'll tell you that much.
No, we go through vigorous testing. Obviously, we do our best. We're humans. Sometimes mistakes do happen, and we see that happen with other companies too. So like we learn from their mistakes, we learn from our mistakes, in hopes to like get it as close to as widely as wide usage out of like everybody.
My shield is critically low. I know. Up, down, left, right, BA start doesn't do anything for me.
Funny you should say that. Cybernator was a Konami release too, or published by Konami.
And there's no like charge shot or anything either, which is, man, that would be cool if there was a charge shot.
That little box you were standing on was a power up. I don't know what it was.
Oh, was it? Okay, that's what I thought. Do I have to blast it then?
Yeah, you can shoot it and it'll pop out.
Okay. I have a bad feel. Wait, hold on. This isn't Star Wars. Oh, I can't go back now. Dang it.
Oh, so this is the third section. Yeah. So there's more guns that you need to just avoid, and I say make a straight shot for the boss. Oh, never mind.
Oh, kaboom. There was the earth-shattering kaboom. Oh, do I have to start at the beginning of the level now, dude?
Yeah. There's no lives, it only continues.
Well then. Well then. I see how you are. And I apologize. I'm fighting a little bit of a chest cold here too, so if I'm coughing a little bit, that's why I'm pushing water right now too. Now, one of the things, we're almost half an hour in here. Dude, how can someone enter for a chance to win this?
Oh, yeah, we're doing a giveaway. I'll post the link right now. It's a little Gleam giveaway.
And I'll get it here on the YouTube side.
So we're giving away a deluxe version of Assault Suits Valken. You have 24 hours to go ahead and click the link. Enter as many times, well, not as many times, but, click the things to add more tickets to your entry. And then we'll pull a winner by Monday. And then once the game releases, you'll have your fresh new copy of Assault Suits Valken Deluxe Edition.
Well, and how about this? Because for those of you who aren't aware, and this may be your first time seeing me, thanks to Retrobit for helping us just be able to do something like this. This is really cool, and without their help and support of the channel, we would not be able to do this. For those who are seeing me for the first time, one of the things that I do in addition to retro video games is I am also into 3D printing, and I don't have it done yet. But I am in the process of designing an Assault Suits Valken LED sign. If you look behind me, you can see the subscribe sign. I will throw for a second place winner, I will throw in a Assault Suits Valken LED sign. So, if you don't win the grand prize, we'll have a backup for you.
Nice. It's very kind of you.
Well, it's one of those things, too, that, you know, I just love designing that stuff. So being able to make something unique that that nobody else has, I mean, that's just it, I don't know how many other people may have an interest in something like that, so it may be one and done.
That's cool.
Now that I know that those are power-up boxes, dude, I'm blasting every single one, if you've noticed.
Yep, like I said, this game is not one that you want to just rush through. You want to take your time a little bit. Once you level up the gun, it feels way stronger. So.
Okay. Yeah, right now, this honestly, it reminds me, health, yes, thank you. Reminds me a lot of, like, just the basic gun in Contra.
Mm-hmm.
This is it's a beautiful game. I gotta say that. And I do love, I mean, for those of you who weren't around in the late 80s, ooh, what's that new weapon? What did we get? Ooh, we got a missile. So do I only have 4 of those and then they're done? Or will it basically cycle through?
It'll reload it, but it takes too long.
Okay. That's pretty cool. But yeah, during this, during the 80s and early 90s, like Mech Warrior and those types of games, these were huge. So where I'm located, I'm actually in central Illinois, and I grew up just outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and in Chicago, they actually had a Mech Warrior center game area, something like that. Kind of like in California, there was Sega City. There was something like that in Chicago, too. And my brother actually went there, and he said it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, we need some more health.
Hey, you leveled up your gun, though.
Yes, we finally got to level 2!
So now your bullets will actually bounce off the walls.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's cool. Uh-oh. Now, isn't there, one of the other things I thought I was researching last night is oh, thank you, health. There's a cheat code for extra continues or something.
Yeah, I believe it's starting up on player 2 or something like that.
I think it's, so on the title screen, if I remember right, it's LR up and start, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Like this, I love the way this looks. And, I mean, it's not just because it's going through my retro tank and whatnot. Oh, Monteras, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Make sure you click that link to enter for a chance to win. In fact, you know what I'm going to do for those, at least on the YouTube side, is I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. So I don't know if you can do that on Twitch or not.
Yes, you can, actually. Oh, I can do that for pre-orders. Never mind. Pin it.
I think this is about the first time in probably 5 years I've had anything streaming on Twitch. I've just been such a YouTube, first sort of content creator, streamer. Oh, so we are going to go ahead. Yeah, Damn is right. Are the missiles homing?
Kind of, not really. They kind of aim towards wherever you were last shooting from.
Okay.
So with this boss, he has little orbiting rockets or rocket launchers. So
yep.
Those are the guys you want to take out first, and then you can hurt him pretty good.
It's like in Mario World where you've got was it the Razor or whatever those guys were?
Yeah. The Trent Reznors.
Yes. Oh, you did not shoot that missile at me. Oh, we need some health. Ugh.
Those little guys do drop stuff sometimes.
Okay.
But usually when they all die and then they respawn, then one of them might drop in health.
Okay. Yeah, and again, like this is one of the things. Now, this is exclusive to the deluxe edition, right? The little green grid dealio with the stand.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really awesome. I know I've got the Ryan over at Rondo Products. He's got them on his website. You mentioned Limited Run Games, Spellinsant, Dragon Box over in Europe, along with some other retailers as well. It's just, so let me do this. I'm going to throw in the chat here on YouTube. These are going to be the links if you want to go and get them through Rondo. And Ryan is a longtime supporter of the channel, so we support him as well. Just like Retrobit, we like these guys. So I'm just bummed out that there's... Oh, I hit that instead. I'm bummed that I lost my power-ups. So how many total levels are there in this?
I want to say there's 8.
Okay.
But what the last stage kind of drags on a bit, so it's could be considered 9.
So the one thing I would love to see is if you guys have never followed a YouTuber by the name of Megadan29. He is one of the best game players I have ever seen. He's no Death Ran, Ghouls and Ghosts and Goblins, like gone through both of them and not died. I would love to see him take a shot at this.
Yeah, there's technically 7 stages, but
okay.
The last one drags on and goes feels like an 8th stage.
All right, let's see if we can't. There we go with our power up. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Kind of like Hagrid. Should not have said that. Should not have said that. All right, there's a health, which we lost a bunch of just to get health. So was it really that much of a help? I don't know. So you guys are always working on new projects. I mean, that's
Yep.
just one of the cool things. How and when did you decide, you know what, let's do a Cybernator Assault Suit Valken for the U.S. market, or just bring it out of Japan?
Well, I can say that we have, for publishing titles, probably like years in advance. I know when we started working on Assault Suits Valken stuff, probably like a year and a half ago almost.
Okay.
I would say like right after like all the quarantine stuff, like that's when Assault Suits Valken was like on our plate to start working on. But it's a fun process, like not just like, you know, going back and forth between, you know, the rest of the team, like, hey, you know, this would be cool, why would it be cool? You know, each release we want to make sure it's like a story we can tell of, you know, it being a unique release or something cool that people just can't get anymore. For like example, Assault Suits Valken, okay, it's not that hard to get, but you're not going to get the Japanese version, obviously.
Yeah, you're not going to get a localized version or translated version.
Right. It just so happened that as we're working on it, the Switch version came out. So I mean, that's something different altogether. They have a nice little package, but for the people who want to play on original console, and even that release, the Switch release, is also edited. A lot of the swear words and other stuff has been changed. Even when I looked over the release, there's still like inconsistencies in how they name some of the characters and some of the items. So I feel ours, we kind of just like caught those mistakes and we're like, okay, well, let's just make it more consistent. So that's how that went with the Assault Suits. But like with any other Retrobit publishing release, like, you know, Avenging Spirit or the Valis series or stuff like that, like we look for as much stuff as we can for the artwork, the manuals, like everything that goes in outside of just the game, to make it just a nice little complete package for people who never got a chance to own it, and for the people who did own it but want to get something different, that's there for them too.
Well, and so what's beyond this? I know a couple more coming out that have already been announced. I think Hammer and Harry is one of them that it's been announced and hasn't shipped yet. Do you have any ETA on when people be able to get those? And that's another one where pre-orders are closed. Oh no, 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 no.
Yeah. So it's funny you should mention that. We're actually going to be posting very soon an update on that. But yeah, for Hammer and Harry, that's finishing production soon. So we're estimating early next year, probably January, for delivering to us, and then probably to the retailers shortly after that. Give or take a few weeks. The next one after that were Soldis and El Viento, and those will be probably the month after that. So probably February-ish.
Very cool. And I know that's one of them, you guys, Hammering Harry specifically, I know you guys, you were talking, a little behind the curtain scene here is the fact that, we talk on, fairly regular between you and, another gentleman at Retrobit, Richard, that I've known for and worked with for a number of years. We've interviewed him here on the channel too. I've known Hammer and Harry was coming, and I know how excited you guys have been about that one. So I'm happy for you guys that that's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, for Hammer and Harry, it was something that we announced, I want to say Gamescom 2018, 2019. And it's always been something that we wanted to do. Well, we had actually gotten to the point, like, I want to say 75% of the way. And then we're like, we had the opportunity to do Hammer and Harry 2, which had never been released in North America. And so we decided to combine those two. We pushed it a little bit back to make sure, it was up to the level as we have been releasing our other games. Because I think around the time Metal Storm and the Toe Plant Collection came out, we kind of started to revamp how we, the process of how we did things and kind of standardize the way we do things. So now you have like the magnetic boxes. Now with the Genesis releases, you have like the actual Genesis boxes. Trying to maintain people's collections, so everything can line up quite nice.
And the nice thing too that it's some of the subtle things that you guys do with your releases is like the boards are all tapered, so that way it goes into your systems better, and that you don't have issues with the pins as they go in. You're not going to have cartridges with death grips, for example, and it's not going to damage your system as you go ahead and play. As you enter and remove it. And, the thing is, too, is the respect for the collector community as well, that it's clear no one will ever deny that a Retrobit re-release is that. They'll never mistake it for the original version because of the steps you guys take to, again, protect those who have invested in years' worth of a collection. And that's really, really awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's a little bit... And yeah, thanks for that. But also, it's kind of interesting talking with some people that will say, "But I wanted it to be a 1-to-1 release," and we understand. People who missed out with the original release, they wanted to look exactly like the original, but it's not that we can't do that. Is that we have too much respect for the original release itself. We don't want to replace it. We just want to pay tribute to it. And then, if it's difficult to find or whatever, or hard to buy, or not in the right language, or doesn't work on your console, well, maybe our version does, So that's just the way we go about things.
Well, and one of the things that I've noticed, too, is after I got Metal Storm, love that game. I think it's brilliant, and I wish that I would have gotten it back in the day. I remember that edition of Nintendo Power. I actually have gone back and repurchased that edition of Nintendo Power. I wanted to go through and purchase a copy of Metal Storm, like an original one. And I remember the first year I went to the Midwest Gaming Classic in either 18 or 19. It was like $125. I'm like, I'm not going to pay that. Now I've seen the price are like $300. I'm like, I should have paid that.
It's funny too, because like it's kind of like an unintended side effect. I don't even know if we're responsible for it or what, but sometimes like after our releases come out, the prices fluctuate and in very odd ways. Like I've seen the Toe Plant Collection go for $300 or whatever, and the weird side effect is the prices for the originals tends to just go crazy. Sometimes they'll go way too high, and sometimes they'll go way too low. I saw Loose Hellfire for $30.
Yep.
very weird how like the prices just go in any direction. And it's also kind of nice. I hate to say it's kind of like a pat on the back when you see people trying to resell your release for $100. Although that's obviously not our intent. That's never been our intent. But yeah, I mean that's just it's the weird nature of gaming auctions now, or you know, selling them on websites because different people will have different values for it, but you can still find deals like if you go in person or in some other or Japan, you know.
Right. And that's, I mean, and I'm the perfect example there where, you know, having played the re-release now, it's like I want the original, so that totally makes sense as to why the originals have spiked in price. I'm sure that I'm not the only one that's like, you know what, this is really cool, but man, having the original too, that'd be even cooler. Like, I still kind of want and I've got, you know, a Sharp Famicom Twin. I've got, you know, ways to play. And Phil, by the way, I see you here on YouTube. Thank you for coming by, my friend. You know, I would like to get a Japanese copy of Holy Diver. You know, and that's another game, you know, probably one of the first Metroidvanias was Holy Diver, and it's a great game. I've never, you know, even to this date, I've never beaten it. But, man, I love playing it.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, like especially with games that have whole series franchises, like when we did Toll Plan, a lot of people got more interested in other Toll Plan releases. Same thing with the Valis series. People got interested in they're like, hey, Super Valis is on the Nintendo Switch SNES library, you know?
Yep.
And they played that. And so it's kind of nice to open people's eyes. I know Avenging Spirit was a big eye opener for me. Like I'm like, what is this game? And then I played the arcade game. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But then when you play the Game Boy game, it's
Game Boy game's awesome.
It's a totally different pace, and it's totally unique on the Game Boy. Like, I mean, outside of maybe Kirby, if you want to stretch it that far, like, you're not gonna get an experience like that on any other Game Boy, OG Game Boy game.
All right, so we are back to this guy.
You got it this time. You get those missiles? You did. Nice.
Yeah, I got the missiles. I got the power up actually on the first level.
Nice. I think the missiles will one-shot the rocks, so you can just clear them out pretty quick with that.
Yeah, the problem is I need to hold my weapon fire. Come on, you.
There you go.
I'm just spamming the fire button right now. Oh, no, you dirty, rotten dough.
I believe when you're getting close to killing him, the screen turns red, but I could be wrong.
And then I lost all of my power-ups too, didn't I?
You keep the powers you gained from the first stage, but yeah, you have to start over on all the ones on the second stage.
Okay. Which should mean I have the power-up gun then, because I guess, or the repulsor bouncing gun, whatever you want to call it.
The Vulcan.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say that too, like, one of the things I love that you guys do is also games that, like, let's just be honest. I mean, people can go to AliExpress and other import websites and get some really crummy knockoff duplicate of a game. They just can. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, on a lot of those, they don't run at the right voltage. They don't have the, chamfer pins and whatnot. You can actually do damage to your system by playing those. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people, they don't realize that could be a thing.
Yeah, it's like we had a lot of people, especially when we were releasing Wily Wars, were like, "Well, I already got Wily Wars. I got it for $2 on this site or whatever."
Yeah.
A lot of those releases are just hobbyists who trying to make a buck will just like solder a chip on a board, flash the game on it, and just call it a day.
Right.
And then you'll have weird instances like, okay, yeah, it can harm your system, but even when it doesn't, that game might not work. Wily Wars has a battery back save. Most of the time, they didn't even put a battery back on the board itself. Sometimes it was just a ROM flash. You can't enter Wily Tower with the ROM flash because the game will try to read if you've completed all the rest of the games, and it'll just zero it out, and you're just stuck there with the Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 complete, but you can't do Wily Tower.
Right.
That's the whole fun of the game. So, yeah, each time we announce a game or something, we'll get people who say something about that, but at the end of the day, it's like we want we're not trying to gouge the price on each release. We try to price it fairly. When there's a deluxe edition, for example, with the Assault Suits Valken here, like we offer a semi-standard edition. This time we're calling it the collector's edition, which is just the game, the manual, the box, at a reasonable price. So even with the collections, when you buy all, let's say for like the Valis, or was it Valis collection, you're getting a little bit of a discount if you buy all three. So we're trying to, at the same time, do our own business, but at the same time trying to balance it out with how much are spending, on our games, so that they don't break the bank.
Well, and here's the thing too that people should realize as well is these games you guys don't own. You have to license them, which means you have to pay for the rights to use. It's not a bootleg copy; it's a legit licensed copy from the original publishers. And one of the things that I don't think you guys get enough credit for is the additional donations that you do to the Video Game History Foundation. I mean, that's amazing, and that's the way that we're keeping this gaming history alive through stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's, even when we teamed up with like you said, the Video Game History Foundation, like it's about preservation for one part, but it's also about like keeping the nostalgia alive. It's kind of weird because they do so much in scanning so many different documents and reaching out to all these old developers and stuff, and it's like when you hear these stories, it's really remarkable. Just the amount of stuff the staff over there has to go through to dig around, to burn, to copy over stuff. It's a lot of work, and no one's setting them up to do this, so they need all the help they can get. We do our donations to them, and every time anyone purchases any of these games, we'll give back to them, on their behalf.
So I just lost video. I wonder what happened here. Hang on. I'm gonna turn off my video source and turn it back on. I can hear the music still, so the game is still playing.
Mm-hmm. Is it on your back screen?
I can't see. It's not on my TV. It's not on here. I wonder. Bear with me. Technical issues.
Have you turned it off and turned it on?
I will not blow into the cartridge. If you need to clean your system, clean your games, use a 1-Up cleaning card.
Just a reminder, this is still not finalized.
And stuff can happen. And I was about ready to die anyways. So
now you can get those continues.
Yes. Now I can. Oh, no. So it is left, right, up, and start. I think left, right, up,
LR up and start
on that screen.
On the title screen where it says press start.
Yep. So, and again, for those of you who are joining us late, this is Assault Suits Valken, available for the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom. Pre-orders are still available. We are playing through original hardware. This is a Super NES Junior that has been RGB modded, utilizing Voltar's RGB mod, going through a RetroTink 5X. We were using HD Retrovision component video cables, and for a controller, this is the Super NES-inspired Legacy 16 from Retrobit, which, if you haven't seen our review of it, I've actually got a review of this controller here on the channel. I like this a lot. This is my go-to Super Nintendo controller.
Same for me.
All right, Side Street said he just ordered this on limited run. Very cool. And then Phil says Axiom Verge is cool too. I don't know that I've ever played Axiom Verge.
It's a very nice Metroidvania kind of game using pixel art. It's really, really good. I don't think I've beaten it though. I need to go back to that.
So we've been playing about, I would say 45 minutes, because we did like a 10-15 minute introduction and everything here. Start to finish, an average game player who doesn't suck as much as I do. How long should it take someone to complete the game?
If you're taking some continues here and there, I'd say maybe like an hour and a half to 2 hours and a half.
Okay, so you can do it in one sitting.
Yeah, you can do it in one sitting. I will say the later stages, especially the ones where, well, I won't spoil it, um, can get kind of hairy. Uh,
Is that a ball joke, dude?
no,
Okay.
they, uh, it's not a ball joke, but yeah, they can get pretty challenging. You'll have to do a little bit of thinking. You have to just, like, not rush forward and just go blow up everything. As much fun as that is, some stages do require you to maneuver around and find better solutions.
Now, one thing I'm noticing too is the fact that if you do a double tap, it'll kind of do a run and slide.
Hmm. Yeah, it's the same as the dash. It's very interesting because it's not listed in the original manual that you could dash by double tapping. It's actually got me killed a couple times, just dashing off a ledge. Um, but yeah, you can double tap or you can press, I think, A to dash.
Let's see. A? Yes, you can.
Hmm.
And the one thing I have found myself not utilizing nearly enough is the shield.
Oh yeah, the shield will block all small arms fire, and you'll take reduced damage from like missiles and stuff. And also, it's kind of the one a really overpowered mechanic because it'll block even if you're getting shot from behind sometimes.
Okay. All right, let's see if we can't. Mama said knock you out. Boom. And I just noticed too that there's a human walking around there.
Yeah, so sometimes when you kill enemy mechs, the pilot will eject. You can't really do anything to them.
Yeah, I wanted to see if it
Only...
was like Rampage and you can actually I mean, not that you would eat them in this, but
Mhm. Yeah, when you like swing at them or whatever, they'll jump back or something. But on other stages, they actually have pistols that they will fire at you, and those guys you can destroy.
it's almost like I was moonwalking there, almost like in Castlevania where he was going backwards.
Hmm. Yeah, if you lock your aim, you can walk backwards.
Looks like we've already upgraded our gun too.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. See, and this is where you were telling me before we even started the stream, you're like, you're going to get frustrated. The more you play it, it's all about muscle memory. And you know, I can definitely say, yes, that is the case.
Yeah, as someone who's not really into the run and gun genre, like I'd say after the first 5 or so play sessions, I can easily get to like stage 4, uh, without even like putting too much effort into it.
So what you're saying is I really suck. I got you, Andy. I'm picking up what you're laying down. And I want that health.
Well, I said play sessions. I didn't mean like lives.
Oh. Now, for those of you who, if you haven't pre-ordered, this is still available for pre-order through this weekend. Hey, Krillin, how's it going? Do you have a rough idea, a Q1 of 2024? Is that what we're looking at?
We won't really know yet because, like I said, we're still in the middle of testing. So, you know, if something were to happen that we need to go back to the drawing board and like make an edit or so that adds weeks to production, we're hoping to go into production obviously before the end of the year.
Right.
So possibly it could be as early, I would say, on my head, March, April.
Okay. So is the goal to try to get it, basically get everything printed, assembled, and on the water before Chinese New Year?
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Okay. And for those of you not familiar, Chinese New Year normally end of January, first week or two of February. It's about a 2.5, 3 week window where pretty much all the factories in China shut down.
Mm-hmm. And we usually try to avoid normally we try to avoid, you know, dealing with the high traffic that happens at the end of the holidays.
Yep.
So that's why we're trying to line this up to happen before then, so that everyone can get it in their hands, and we can give like proper ETAs rather than like, well, looks like looks like we missed the next boat, so it's gonna have to take a while for ocean shipping.
Well, and that's one thing got to give you guys credit for. You have definitely tightened up your shipping window. I mean, before I forget what it was. I know there was something that was, and this was before COVID, that was like it's supposed to be here in Q1. And it was like Q1 the next year. So
Yeah.
the estimations have, the more you guys have done of these, the more accurate you've gotten.
Yeah, and that's just the nature. I mean, of our company, we're obviously not as big as Apple or Nike or whatever, so they can just like skip the line, so to speak.
Yep.
Whereas we have to wait and be patient and work with our partners to get the best possible with what we have. So we're glad that we have a great community who's very patient with the releases most of the time. But yeah, it's about trying to not only just serve our customers, which is you guys, but also even the retailers who sell our stuff. They're waiting for the stuff. We don't want to make them angry. So yeah, getting better ATAs makes everybody happy.
Yeah, and it's just setting that realistic expectation. Speaking of like new releases and things that are shipping or about to ship, we recently talked on our channel here about the Originate NES controller. If you guys are looking for a wireless NES controller, dude, this thing is awesome. I know, again, Ryan over at Rondo Products, he's got them listed as coming soon. Can you give us an update as far as when those should be available through retailers that carry Rondo, or carry Rondo products, carry Retrobit products?
Yeah, they're available now.
Sweet.
It's funny because they arrived at some retailers around the weekend that we were in Portland.
Okay.
And I know both Rondo Products and ourselves that were selling at Portland, we sold out over most of them.
Good.
So
it's a great controller.
Yeah. So I know Amazon has them in stock. If you want to check out Amazon, just look up Originate. Rondo obviously might be showing as it's not arrived yet, but he should be getting them soon if he hasn't already. There's plenty of other places too. I believe Stone Age Gamer is as well for North America. For Europe, I'm trying to remember who has them. I think it's I think 8-Bit Mods has them as well.
And they're in the UK, I think, right?
Yes, they're in the UK, and I believe Dragon Box Shop might be getting them if they don't have them already. So that's Germany.
Yep.
Let me look this up actually.
So let's see here. Side Streets on YouTube asks, I need the Sega version next from them. Is there a Sega version of this?
He's talking about Target Earth, which is basically Assault Suits Valken. That's a different game altogether. It's still kind of part of it. It's so a little background. So there's the Assault Suits series, and what falls underneath it is Valken, Assault Suits Valken. That's plural, because there's many suits under the Valken thing, and then Assault Suit Valken, which that was the first game, and that was released on the Mega Drive. And when it came to Europe and North America, it was renamed to Target Earth.
Okay. So let me answer this as politically correctly as possible. The team at Retrobit are always working on new and exciting releases, and while we cannot describe and give you any detail on what is coming up in the future, we will take your comments into consideration and make sure that you are subscribed to all of our newsletters and social medias, as we will update you with new product releases as soon as we can say something about them.
You're hired.
I've had to do that once or twice.
Well, it's cool too that people get excited to ask for other stuff. We do have a suggestion form, which I'll have to get the link for us. Hey, nice job! You wrecked him that time with the missiles. But yeah, we have a suggestion form. I'll post it in the chat in a little bit. We also have done another Masaya game, which is Glade Lancer. So Masaya is a licensor that we're hoping to do many things with. I can say that. Yeah, Target Earth it was a good first try. I will say Valken, that's when they really hit their stride, and then they did a sequel for Lanos 2, which was on PS2.
Yeah, I want to say there was a couple PlayStation releases.
And then there's a Valken 2, and I think that was just recently re-released.
Okay.
on PS4. And then they also released Assault Suits Valken on PS2, the original, well, semi-translated using very different graphics and stuff.
Now, again, if you have not done so, and Traverse, how you doing? He brings up Super Star Wars. I'm sure that's something that LucasArts games are... Yeah, those licenses are tied down real tight with Disney and whatnot.
Yeah, we'd love to do Disney stuff, but unfortunately, they're not answering our calls. No, I'm just joking. No, it's always a possibility, to be honest. Like, I'll throw this out there. We didn't think that we'd get to do Wily Wars. And that was the big surprise. And we got to do it, and we got to mess with the code, and we got to do a really good release. And you know, it can happen. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to say.
Now, one thing I've got to say, too, if you are a fan of the Wily Wars, cannot recommend highly enough, go check out Norm, the gaming historian's video on it. It is exceptional. I mean, Norm does great stuff anyways, but his video on Wily Wars and kind of how that all came into being on the Genesis, great video. Great video.
He's a great guy, too. Very quiet, but really good guy.
He is. I actually... So, just... being completely transparent here for people, you see the shirt here. I actually work for One Up Cleaning Card. That's the company I work for. And I emailed Norm earlier this week, hey, we got another weapon upgrade. Sweet. Yes, I will say Norm is extremely soft-spoken, but kind of like John Riggs, one of the sweetest, nicest, most genuine people you will ever have a chance to talk to. And I'm glad that every time I get to see him and talk to him, like, He's Norm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I blowed up. Blowed up, sir.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
So now this says free play. Does that mean my continue trick worked?
Yes.
Sweet. So again, LNR up and start on the start title screen when you go into the game. Yeah, Side Streets, the problem I have with that, and he points out that it's on Steam right now. It's an extended rental. You don't actually own the game. This, you actually physically own the game. So, and I will say, I'm not a Steam user. It's nothing against it. My computer is for work. Let's see. Krillin says, loves the Retrobit controllers. Have version 1 and 2 of the 2.4 gigahertz Saturn controllers in blue and a V2 that looks like the Japanese Saturn one. I have those too. I also have one of the red ones too. And what I love about the red one is the fact that you guys, we talked about earlier how you do, donations to the Video Game History Foundation. Those red Sega controllers that basically were, had a donation to, was it the American Cancer Society or something like that?
Oh, you're talking about the pink ones.
Were they pink? Was that what it was?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've been very open about how my mom, we lost my mom in 95 to ovarian cancer. My middle brother is going through colon cancer right now. So the fact that you guys did that stuff for me and my family, I appreciate that. That's one of those that, that the community needs stuff like that.
Yeah, and you bring up a point that's something that we do want to get back into again. This is do some charity work as well. We were floating some ideas, but unfortunately COVID happened around that time. But it's
COVID, never heard of it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, COVID happened, and it's just very difficult to organize these things, especially when everyone was quarantined. And obviously, we do have a lot of outreach work that some of my team members, are more familiar with. As you mentioned, you dealt with your mother's cancer and stuff like that, and we had a lot of people reach out to us, either thanking us or recommending us some other foundations and stuff like that, and that's really cool. And that just goes to show you, like,
you make an impact.
Yeah, you make an impact, but you're also, we're not all anonymous people behind computer screens. We're all, living together, trying to work things out. We gotta help each other too.
Well, now, looking forward, we talked about, like, some of the upcoming releases. Whoa, come on, dude, stop following me. So, Are
I
you
think the
guys going
shield
to
block.
be at CES in 2024? I know you've attended in the past.
No, I think CES is off our calendar for the time being.
Okay.
Um, Reason being is it's become. I mean, I don't know the actual reasons to be honest. But I know the last time we went,
It
the
was the
market
one
has
right before
shifted.
COVID, I think.
Yeah, 2019 or 2020. Yeah, I think it might have been 2019 we went. It was have the whole layout was heavily pushed towards like drones, electric vehicles, stuff like that. And from what it looked like a lot of the gaming stuff was like pushed back into the corner. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure cost and opportunity and all that stuff came into play. But I think for the time being, that's off the calendar.
Okay. Well, if I can make a request of you guys, we need to get you out to the Midwest Gaming Classic.
Yeah, we've actually in the past we kind of worked with who was it? Gaming Generations? Like they had a booth at Midwest and we gave them stuff to sell and stuff, but now that we've seen like a lot of the press and all the stuff that's been going on, it's an interesting show. I would love to go out there.
Well, I mean, I may be biased just because it's my hometown show, but man, it's my favorite convention of the year.
Mhm. You can blow up those tanks, by the way. All
Oh,
those map
okay.
stuff you can blow up.
That's what the big explosions were. Okay.
I don't think they hurt you, so you can just like walk straight up into them. But yeah, this is big explodey stage.
No! Oh! As soon as it shot, I knew I was gonna die.
Can you shield block those?
Probably. I haven't. It coming from the previous mission. It's like the shield doesn't work, so I'm muscle memory. I don't have it. Let's see. Krillin here says, "I wish I could get one of the new Retrobit Saturn controllers with the joysticks to try out and review." Yes, and Owazrim, our favorite Alf fan and second favorite cosplayer of Dr. Robotnik, sorry, Riggs has got you covered, is in here, says, Gary Go Boom. Yes, Gary Go Boom, and that was not talking about me going boom in a diaper like a baby. Ducky, go down the hole. Ducky, come back. You're old if you get that reference, by the way. Andy, do you get that reference?
I'm sorry, that's before my time.
That would be from Tiny Toon Adventures.
Oh, really? I'm trying to remember that. You know, it was funny that I actually just recently watched a few episodes with my niece, and I didn't remember half the episode. I was like, "Wait, this happened?"
Yeah.
I'm losing my memory now.
Now I understand the fact that those tanks explode where those big explosions were coming from there. I blowed them up, sir. Let's see here. Let's see. Mustache is better, though. Yes, it is, but everything else on Riggs is better. Because it's Riggs. I mean, let's just be honest about this. Yes, you can block that with the shield.
It just takes too long.
It's kind of like, yes! I'm glad you said something, good sir. Yes, it is rigged. That's what you're hearing. Because, well, I mean, yeah. All right, good strategy call, man. Like I say, I was just trying to avoid.
Yeah. I mean, I played without the shield, using the shield for quite a few runs before I realized how broken it was.
Yeah.
Or not broken, I guess how powerful it is, I guess, basically.
It's like, what was it? Was it Diddy Kong Forever and a Day was like the character to have on Mario Kart?
Mm-hmm.
Ruben, how you doing? Dude, send me a message on Facebook, by the way. For some reason, I couldn't find where we were going back and forth. I've got your stuff printed for you, so we'll get you taken care of. And I'll try to get out to you either tomorrow or Sunday. Ruben, one of our longtime supporters here through our channel memberships on YouTube. And one of the cool things about that is you do get early ad-free access to all of our content, at least our long-form stuff, and then exclusive discounts in our 3D printer store, too. So there's a number of different games in the series, as you talked about. And again, you guys are always working on new stuff. Can we expect to maybe see another entry into the series down the road?
Well, technically, the only other retro one would be Lanos/Target Earth. It's a possibility.
Let's see. We had Krillin says, "I love Retrobit. Not only the products they put up, but what they do for the community." Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons, too. There's another manufacturer who makes, I will admit, they make some quality controllers, but you know what? They don't engage with the community. They don't respond to emails. They don't respond to social media. So I don't use their products. I don't recommend them. It's easy to recommend a product for people that not only believes in what you're doing, but believes in the community, too. And they're not just there to take advantage of the situation. Let's see. Dale Powell asks, what system am I playing this on? So, welcome, first of all, Dale, to the stream. This is on the original Super NES, although I am playing on a Super NES Junior that has been RGB modded to be able to utilize component video cables from HD Retrovision. And we are going through a RetroTink 5X. So you're actually seeing 5 times line multiplication. Let's see. Side streets, what about Ranger X on the Genesis? That's a wonderful game.
It's a possibility. Oh, speaking of which, I have that link for suggestions. So I'll drop it in both chats.
There you go.
Well, actually, I can't link because you blocked me from linking on yours.
Oh, send it to me in our... We have our own side chat. Send it to me and I can post it in there. That's fine.
Sure. So this is a forum if you have any game suggestions for possible future releases. I think by the end of this year, I'll reset it and clear it out. But the suggestions have been good. We definitely have a few from what people have suggested coming up soon. I think, actually, hold on. I believe El Viento was actually one of the first ones that came off the list, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, get those in there. Obviously, let's keep it towards retro. Hard to get games. Let's not, throw Super Mario Brothers or anything in there.
Earthworm Jim.
Again.
What do you mean again? Young man, don't you use that tone with me.
Wait, is it going to be like the 3DO version or something?
Oh, here's the dudes that are shooting me with guns. You were telling me about that.
Yep. And they hurt. Those guns hurt.
If you listen, and let me know in the chat if the background music is loud enough in the game. It sounds like breathing from Link to the Past when you're getting close to, was it Ganon? There's one where you can hear one of the enemies like breathing.
Yeah, I know in this stage, the objective is to stop them from launching, I believe. So like there's something that's going to be launching from here. So you hear it like charging up and starting to get ready to launch. Or they're launching missiles or something like that.
I'm trying to launch missiles at this thing. Oh!
This isn't even the stage boss. This is just a mid boss.
So then do I have to go all the way back or do I start at the beginning of here?
You start at...
Okay, I'm good with that. Die, puny humans, die. Now I understand why Megatron hated us so much. He was kind of justified if you think about it. And I love looking at the bottom of the screen here, how that's all been destructible.
Yep.
Let's see. Oazrim says Starfight? I haven't heard of Starfight. What's that, dude?
Is that a computer game? On the Amiga?
Well, and I guess that's an interesting thing, too, is that now we're to the point where, I mean, we all know Retro, Super Nintendo, NES, Genesis, etc., etc., etc. What about getting into the PlayStation or the PS2 or the Xbox or Xbox 360? Is that something you guys have looked into at all?
Not at the. I mean, I don't want to say we haven't looked at it or thought about it, but for the time being, it's not something. It's
From a
we can
demand
set.
standpoint, is just the demand not there?
Um, it's partially demand, but also just just burning it onto a disk and trying to get the approvals of
Yeah.
all that stuff. Because hard to say, like even the rare ones nowadays, they're already launching digitally either through Steam, Epic, or even on the original like let's say with the PlayStation Store or Xbox Store, like those titles are usually available. The good ones, at least, are already available digitally. However, the physical ones that are hard to reach are it's kind of I don't know how it would work, to be honest, but it's something that we have in the back of our minds. Unfortunately, with like other disc systems like the Saturn and stuff like that, that's a whole another thing because of the way the discs are read by the console. It requires a specific key, which only Sega has, and they've not shared that with anybody.
Well, that's just rude if you ask me. But I know, in all seriousness, though, I know that, like, that's one of the things that, and, like, you can get this through limited run.
Hmm.
They've talked in the past as well how, like, they've not been able to do everything that they've wanted to through Xbox because, quite frankly, Microsoft won't allow them to burn discs for their systems.
Right.
So I completely understand that.
Yeah, and it's also we don't want to step on anyone's toes. We don't want to anger any of the big three, or even I guess in our case, even the big four with Sega. In addition to that, we like to play nice with everybody because you just never know.
Right.
Things can happen really quickly. Uh, the way we've been doing stuff, we've been getting companies, just asking us questions. Can you guys do this? Can you guys do that? And so it's always good to keep keep the phone ready for anything to happen. So if Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft says, even if they don't say, even if there's a possibility that they could get angry about something, it's better not to.
Yep, I completely get that. It's definitely, a lot of times my attitude is it's always easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. Yeah, not necessarily.
Yeah. And so with that's why we're able to do these releases, because the license is owned by companies who developed or published it. So we can get around that by the way we make our cartridges. So it's a lot easier that way. I will say N64 is definitely possible in the future.
Okay. And at least the nice thing too at doing N64, if you do a physical cartridge, is you don't have the same issues as like on a cartridge standpoint that people who are trying to make clone systems, for example,
Hmm.
because you a clone system has always been just really a pain in the rear to do emulation wise.
Hmm.
Speaking of which, we're not going to talk about the Nomad that showed up a couple years ago at CES that may or may not still be in development that people have asked about.
It might be.
Again, that's you mentioned COVID earlier. I know that was one of those things that COVID definitely had an impact on.
Hmm. Yeah, well, it impacted a lot of our projects, not so much, for what happened to us here, but because what happened with the factories as well. Like whenever an outbreak happened or anything happened, the whole town just shut
Yep.
down. Like there's nothing we have no control over that. So like when people were asking, "When's this coming?" I was like, "Well, whenever
It's
people get back
whenever
to
we can
work."
get parts.
Yeah, it's simple as that. It's like we're more than happy to communicate and like do what we can from home, but these guys have to show up to work and do assembly or manufacturing, and when the government over there says everybody go home, you go home.
Yep. Now, although kind of dovetailing on that is the fact that one of the things that was announced before COVID and now they are official is the Saturn controller. Saturn controllers? Yeah, the Saturn controllers.
Mhm.
What are we looking at for ETA on shipping on those?
So if you're talking to about the pro analog controllers, I
Yes.
think we're hoping to get the bulk of them in by maybe early mid December.
Okay.
That means probably retailers hopefully before Christmas time. Uh, It's very generous, assuming things go well, because holiday shipping,
Yep.
at any point, any other company could just like cut the line. So, but yeah, we're expecting them in December.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Now these little booger flying around things are annoying. Is there a
mhm.
trick to getting those?
Oh, the little red things.
Yes.
I just run away from them. Like
Okay.
shoot when you can and just run away from them. Keep your cannon locked towards them. Just backwards walk. Oh, these guys. Yeah, I would just stay near the
No,
middle
these
and
guys
avoid
are
them.
easy. It
Yeah.
just they take a lot of
Okay.
ammo is all. No, the little ones that come up right after this.
Yeah, so the little ones will follow you for a short period and then stop. So when they stop, that's when you shoot them.
We'll probably play for another 15 minutes or so here. Make sure if you have not done so yet, in the top of the chat on YouTube, and I think it's linked also on the Twitch stream, we do have a form where you can enter for a chance to win a copy of this for yourself.
Hmm.
I would love to see tons of entries on there. And we'll also go ahead and give away some 3D printer stuff through that too. Do that through our 3D printer store that we have.
You can just run away from them too. They're pretty slow.
Yep, those things, they're like those crab things, I don't mind. They're pretty easy to get, but these things, I hate them.
Yeah, they just explode and do a bunch of damage.
That wall bounce weapon is flipping awesome.
Yeah, and then I think at level 4, the balls are just gigantic explosions.
Make sure, too, while you're here, if you're either on Twitch or on YouTube, one of the things we would always appreciate, make sure you hit that that thumbs up or that like button. You can go ahead and become channel members as well. That gives you early ad-free access to all of our content here through YouTube. Leave a comment down below. And, yeah, all that happy fun stuff. You guys know the drill. Large-scale explosions detected. Did they have beans for dinner?
You're just gonna have to dash through those.
Okay. Whoa.
This is where it gets a
No.
little serious.
Okay. Don't get scared now. I have located the enemy hangar. Now, if this is fast, I'd hate to see slow for the text. Take care, I'm getting readings of a large weapon inside. It's smiling at me.
Is this?
I apologize if you guys hear my puppies barking upstairs.
Oh,
You
this is a
can't
tough one.
you can't stop the might of Granvia. You bastard! You killed Kenny! Love you too, sweetheart. Be thankful we aren't using nukes.
Yeah, so he wants to drop the entire space fortress on Earth.
2 minutes. 2 minutes to the pass, chef. Where's my lamb sauce? You know, the one thing I will say that I do wish on this was there was a life bar for the enemies.
Yep. The most you'll get here is you'll get warnings on time. So this is a time boss fight. And you'll get a, I forget her name. Her name is Claire. She'll keep popping up and telling you, hurry up.
You know what would be, and I don't know if Nintendo has the rights to this or who has the rights to it now. Sim City would be a good re-release.
I think that would depend on What, for Axis or?
Yeah, is it Maxis? Or oh yes! Woohoo! Impossible! No,
Nice.
I beat you.
It's not over yet.
Oh, don't! Why do you have to ruin my? I was happy.
Because I did the same thing, and I was like, "Yay, that's it, right?" No, you have to go all the way up and destroy some tanks.
Oh, tanks! I can deal with tanks, right? Right?
Keep going, keep going. To the left, I think.
Is that gonna hurt me?
Yes.
Yes, it will. Mission failed. Oh. Womp womp. Yes, the Panda Traverse, you got the reference. Well, guys, this has been Assault Suits Valken from Masaya Games and the re-release from Retrobit. Andy, I got to thank you for sending me this to go ahead and share with everybody. I really do appreciate it. I will definitely be... can I stream more before it comes out, or is this one and done? We'll talk about that offline. How about that? Super fun game. It's beautiful. It sounds great. It plays great. And the wonderful thing, too, like I mentioned, I was using the Legacy 16. No lag, no delay, no latency. This is fantastic. Make sure you check out our review on it if you have not seen this as of yet. Fire Pro Neo. Dude, are we going to keep Craig Counsell? That's what I want to know from you. You can go ahead. You can pre-order this still. Pre-orders are open through this weekend through Rondo Products, formerly CastleManiaGames.com. You can enter for a chance to win in the links that we've thrown in the pinned comments through both YouTube and Twitch. This should be available in the early part of 2024. To stay up to date with the releases and whatnot, make sure you subscribe to our channel here, because when the production versions get shipped, I will keep you up to date on that. Make sure you are also subscribed to the Retrobit newsletter as well, because they will provide updates as far as, hey, we've gotten them in. Hey, they've gone out to retailers. Hey, the retailer should be shipping to you soon too. And it also just kind of keeps you up to date with everything that's coming on with Retrobit, their releases, and things coming in the future. Andy, I'm sorry if I took any of your steam away right there,
No.
But anything else that we need to cover before we sign off here?
No, just once again, if the giveaway is open for 24 hours, so obviously get your entries in, get a free version of the deluxe edition once they ship out. And yeah, thanks once again, Gary, for doing the stream for us. It's always been a pleasure doing things with you. And of course, everyone just keep an eye on our socials, on Gary's socials, whenever stuff drops, whenever updates come out, and we appreciate everyone's support.
So again, this has been Assault Suits Valken for the Super Nintendo, also coming for the Super Famicom as well. There are two different versions available for it in the... there's a deluxe set and a collector's set, and some of the pack-ins that you can get in the... I think the deluxe set has got all the extra stuff in there. So I love this little display stand with the Assault suit on it here. Comes with the Assault Suits Valken logo on here. This is basically what I'm going to model my 3D printed light that we will give away to one lucky winner. So Andy, just whenever you guys get a second name drawn, let me know that, and we will get that out to folks. It also comes with this sound effect keychain. This is actually really cool. So there is that. And then the deluxe version also comes with this nice looking slipcover. And then both versions will have kind of a variant of this box. I love the way that they've gone ahead now and made this magnetic, where it kind of keeps everything sealed and together in here. Very, very nice. Now on the... I may have this backwards, Andy, correct me if I'm wrong. On the deluxe edition, the cartridges are gold. On the collector's editions, they're more of a bronze color to kind of differentiate one versus the other.
And for any of our European friends, yes, it'll be shaped accordingly for the PAL systems. The board itself will detect whatever hertz that the console runs at, so 50 or 60. But the shape of the cartridge is different between North America and Europe. If you want to play on a Super Famicom Japanese version, you can order from one of the European retailers, and it'll work just fine. It'll have the shape. The board will actually detect it's 60 hertz, and I've tested it personally. It's just fine that way.
And a couple other minor things. Do get a full color manual in with either version, the collector's or the deluxe set. Some really cool artwork that gets included. You do get a... I don't remember if I saw a certificate of authenticity with this release, but at the very least, you do get a sticker inside the box that'll kind of say what your number is out of the total produced units. Like this one is just a mock-up, says 3 out of 9,000. Normal runs are like 3 to 5,000. I'd say is pretty typical on that. But above and beyond that, I think that pretty much covers everything that we have going on here today with Assault Suits Valken. Again, Andy, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for sending us this to share with everybody. I mean, that's the coolest thing is I got to play with something first. Yeah, it's always fun. It was great. So until next time, again, follow Retrobit on all their social media pages. Follow me on all of my social media pages. And until next time, we are checked out, gone.
Have a good night.